1930s, the German government decided to cut useless expenses from the budget, like keeping alive retarded, insane, epileptic, and the chronically ill. I mean, they're going to die in a few years anyway. I mean, this person doesn't even remember their name. Nobody's going to miss them. They were sent to the gas chambers. And it was called Lebens unwertes Leben, life unworthy of life. It was considered an act of mercy to free them from their bodies of pain. And then the German government got rid of the elderly in government institutions that had no welfare, and nobody visited them, and they were a burden on the state. They were sent to the gas chambers. Then the government got rid of the useless eaters, the parasites on the state, the street bums, the beggars, the poor. Why should you have to pay taxes to keep this criminal alive and fed? And then they decided to get rid of the political dissidents, the Dietrich Bonhoeffers, the people that were going around giving speeches against the government takeover. And they were used for military medical research. And then finally, based on evolution and the twisted idea, they said the Aryan race were Ubermensch and Supermen, and they wanted to eliminate the inferior races, the Untermenschen, from the human gene pool, and they sent Jews and gypsies and others to the terrible death of the Holocaust. Ladies and gentlemen, we scratch our heads today and think, how could an advanced country as Germany do something horrible like a Holocaust? Well, let's see. It started with the government taking over healthcare, and then their economy cratered, and they had to cut expenses. Now, I want to just make sure that we understand this. Christianity says that Jesus was alive the moment the Holy Spirit came upon Mary and she conceived. He was in her womb from the moment of conception. We believe that life begins at conception. Now, what happens when a nation stops having the value of human life? Well, we can look at experiments around the world that within the last 100 years, 80 million people were killed in communist China by Mao Zedong, an atheistic communist government. It was a cultural revolution. And then we look at the Soviet Union. 60 million were killed in Soviet purges over the 70 years by an atheistic government that did not value human life. And Pol Pot killed millions in Cambodia. A fourth of the country was killed by its own atheistic government that did not value human life. And the same thing in Cuba, in Hungary, in Cardinal Mindszenty, and thrown in jail. And when we have Romania, and all these countries stand out as a warning to us, saying, learn from history. We see there's a movie out, For the Greater Glory of God. This movie talks about just south of our border in the 1920s, an atheistic government outlawed the Catholic Church and closed down the churches and the seminaries and all the institutions of learning. This is something that is not ancient history. This is something that is within the recent memory. Now, this is an important time for our country. This is a time where we are making the decision about what is going to happen